Hi, I'm Laura O'Brien from Siliconrepublic. Today we're going to take a look at the Nintendo 3DS. The Nintendo 3DS's appearance greatly resembles the Nintendo DS Lite in terms of layout and design, with several key hardware features to help it stand out. At the back you have those kind of two outer cameras to help take 3D photos, and you also have one inner camera, which I'll show you now. They're both all VGA, so don't expect them to take fantastic photos. Other features include a volume slider here. You have an SD card port there, and you have your kind of place to activate your wireless, and then you also have your stylus here, which I'll take out. And that can be extended as well. New additions to the gaming controls include this analog stick here, which is pretty comfortable to use. You have your D-pad, your Y, X, A and B buttons, and your power button is just down there. Now the 3DS has two screens. The bottom one's a touch screen device, and the top one is the one with the 3D visuals. Of course, the biggest feature of the 3DS are the 3D visuals. Unfortunately, our cameras actually can't pick it up, but I'll just describe them to you anyway. Basically, you have this 3D slider, which actually reduces the amount of 3D, the top being the strongest, and the bottom will turn it off completely. In order to actually take advantage of the 3D visuals, you really have to be kind of looking at it straight on. I mean, you can have it kind of down low or up high if you want, just as long as you're kind of at the same kind of angle looking straight at it. You can't really look at it from the left and the right just because it'll just get distorted, and if it's way too far from you or right up against your eyes, it'll also get distorted. But in between is a pretty generous space there. So there may sound like there's a lot of restrictions, but to be honest, the way you when you naturally hold the console, it's grand. It's basically optimized for that, you know, kind of sitting in front of you kind of thing, and as long as your head is the same angle as the DS, you're grand. Although if you have a friend looking over your shoulder, they're kind of missing out on that. The 3D effect, it's not really a case where everything's jumping out of you. It's more like everything's sort of layered. So you'd have, like, say, a kind of a top layer where things look a bit more in front of you, and say a back layer where it seems farther away. So there's a real kind of depth of field within the screen, making it feel like there's a kind of a big vast world just within that screen. Now there were a few reports on say people saying that they're getting nauseous, headaches, and people were kind of refuting these claims. To be honest, personally, at first I was a little bit disorientated, and like after 15 minutes I was kind of turning it on and off. But I found that once you kind of get used to it, it's actually fine, and I personally haven't gotten any problems with it since. Of course, it helps the fact that you can actually sort of reduce the amount of 3D to suit your own eyesight, and then if need be, you can switch it off completely. I think the best thing to do is if you're going to a game store, they usually have a demo model out, take a look at it, maybe play it for a little bit and just see, does it suit you? So the Nintendo 3DS comes with a lot of built-in software to kind of get you going. You can design your own Mii, just like in your Nintendo Wii, where you have your own kind of little individual character there, and that can appear in certain games. You also have sort of a basic music maker and a camera mode. Now the camera mode, it's not fantastic quality, as I was saying, with VGA, so it seems to be more for fun basically there. And you also have a very basic sound editor. Again, you're not going to be making something amazing from it, but again, it's just for fun. Now one of the big features they have in this is called Street Pass, and basically if you have your Nintendo 3DS folded over and you're walking past someone on the street, you can kind of pick up data from them, and it can be used for things like, you know, it's this mode here is the Wii Plaza, where basically it's kind of, there's like a little quest mode, and there's also puzzle swap, and when you pass by people, they kind of pick up on little puzzle pieces and things like that. Now you can control what data gets sent over. Of course, again, I haven't met anyone because I'm in an office at the moment, so I think a lot of the success of that will depend on how many people will have their Nintendo DS asleep, like walking in the street. So if there's a good bit of pickup on this, then it'll be a pretty good idea, but again, if it's not, then it might not be used that much, so time will tell with that one. So one of the most interesting features I thought was the augmented reality features, where basically when you get the console you get these cards, and particularly the question mark card is kind of the most interesting one. So basically, if you take out your question mark card that you get with the console, place it on a flat surface in a well-lit area, and keep your console base of the camera at a distance of 35 centimeters. So I'm just going to pick up on this now. And all that away. So yeah, that'll do. And so because of augmented reality, it takes your surroundings and it kind of puts in sort of 3D little characters, and then you can kind of play games based on that. So you can sort of move your own console around and get targets, or you can do fishing games or graphic games or something like that. So I think it's a pretty interesting idea, because it really kind of takes advantage and manipulates, as you can see, your own desk. And you can play a bit of a target practice, so you can kind of shoot the targets. The Nintendo 3DS is available now from $269.99.